Hello, and welcome to the Stepping Into Your Calling podcast. It is time to ask yourself the questions you've been avoiding. Am I good enough? Why do I feel so sad? Am I doing everything I can do? Do they hate me? Is there something better for me out there? Whether you're a single woman trying to live a more joyful life, a married woman struggling in your relationship, or a mother trying to be the best parent you can be, this is the podcast for you. The Stepping Into Your Calling podcast is a live workshop style health and fitness podcast packed with actionable steps that will help you live a more fulfilling life. Host Sol Lagunas brings her knowledge as a registered nurse, mother of 3 children, wife, student, and faith-based leader to inspire you to step into your calling without fear. Hello, and welcome back to the Stepping Into Your Calling podcast. I am your host, Sol Lagunas, and today I want to talk about self-worth. But before we get to the topic of discussion, I do want to say that yesterday I went to a Maxwell Leadership Conference and I was completely mind blown. So I want to share something that I learned yesterday. And it's about being average. And of course, if you're listening to this podcast, you're not your average individual. But if you know someone that needs to listen to this, I recommend that you share this episode with them so they can get a little bit more insight on what average means. But really quick, average is the best of the worst. And when Chris Robinson said that yesterday at the conference, I was really mind blown because a lot of people want to be quote unquote normal. But if you become normal or if you live to your normal expectation, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get normal. You're going to get average. And just so you know, average is the best of the worst. So I thought that was amazing. Something else that he shared was that if you set your goal to place at the top 10, at the top 5, at the top 3, you're going to place at the top 10, at the top 5, at the top 3. Meaning if your goal is to be number 10 in a race of 100 people, 9 times out of 10, you will place at that level, but not higher. So why not shoot for the stars, right? Why not shoot for that number 1 position? Do everything in your power to be in that number 1 position. So I thought I would share that with you. And of course, without further ado, let's get started. Let's talk self-worth. Self-worth, according to the American Psychological Association, is an individual's evaluation of himself or herself as a valuable, capable human deserving of respect and consideration. Part of having a healthy self-worth, or what people perceive as having a healthy self-worth, is having self-respect and good self-esteem. I want to talk to you, to the person that wears many hats, that multifaceted individual who is always doing something, starting something, or changing something. I consider myself a person who is multifaceted. I enjoy participating in many different things all at once. With that being said, I also procrastinate a lot. I am hard on myself, and I have very little to no patience when it comes to handling difficult situations. And this is 1000% true. This raised the question, why do I want to continue adding to my plate when I already have a million things happening at once? So I looked into self-worth. Why self-worth? Well, because as a person who wears many hats, you may consider yourself as a great person. Maybe you feel good because you have a lot of great things going on, but that is not always the case. A woman that is multifaceted has to fight a lot of battles. One of them being, am I worthy of all these things? I listen to a lot of podcasts. Some include On Purpose by Jay Shetty, the Mel Robbins podcast, the Ed Milet Show, Gold Digger by Jenna Kutcher, and many more. All of these podcasts have touched base on the topic of self-worth. Yes, even male-hosted podcasts. According to these podcast hosts, self-worth comes from believing in yourself. Some of these multifaceted individuals, like myself, go on endeavors to add to their list of accomplishment, yet it does not seem like it's enough. We think that by doing all the things and adding accomplishment after accomplishment, we will achieve that feeling of worthiness. But we got it all wrong. We cannot achieve self-worth by doing this. Yes, I am part of that crew. I want to do all the things because I want to add to my accomplishment list. Yet at the end of the day, I still don't feel worthy of them. Wow. It took me 33 years to realize this toxic habit of mine. So that is why I looked into self-worth. What do you think of that? Now that you know the culprit of why you may feel unworthy of all the things you're doing, let's start to tackle how you can actually feel worthy of them all. The first thing you can work on when it comes to increasing your self-worth is avoiding perfection. Y'all, no one is perfect. And if you obsess over being a perfect partner, mother, employee, or friend, you will start to feel worse than the worst partner, mother, employee, or friend. Does that make sense? Maybe. So let's continue to tackle this matter. When you're trying to be perfect all the time, you may actually do things that do not feel good to you, just so you can fit in or be the perfect person. For example, you want to be the perfect partner. So let's say you hate bowling, but your partner is a part of a bowling league. So you find yourself at the bowling alley 5 out of 7 days because you want to be that supportive, AKA perfect partner. This can actually lead to frustration and eventually burdensome, which can cause conflict in your relationship and self-sabotage. This is just an example. Now, replace this example with an actual situation that is happening in your life right now. I hate fill in the blank, but XYZ loves to do it. So I am going to sacrifice myself to be a supportive, AKA perfect partner. Now, does that seem like it will help you feel good about yourself? Will you feel worthy of your partner if you sacrifice your feelings and thoughts to be the perfect partner? Probably not. Very likely not. So now that you know perfection is not attainable nor sustainable, let's tackle another topic that will help your self-worth. This next one hits home for me. Something that will not help you attain self-worthiness is relying on external factors to feel worthy. External factors include so many things like receiving praise for accomplishment, looking for a partner to be in a relationship, or pursuing higher education to say, I did it. Why do I say this hits home and why I think getting rid of this thought process will increase your self-worth meter? First, the emotions you feel after finally being in a relationship are temporary. The emotions you feel after getting a degree on what you thought would be the best career choice are temporary. And the praise and the accomplishments are fleeting, meaning they come and go. Again, temporary. Second, if you are waiting for that person to come and sweep you off your feet and complete you, you're going to be waiting for a very long time. If you think going for another degree will add to your self-worth, it won't. If you live off of the praise you receive from other people, friends, family, or partner, it is not sustainable fuel to keep you going. So now fill in this sentence with your external unique factor. Once I fill in the blank, I will feel better about myself. Does that make sense to you now? I know I sound harsh, but I feel like I'm talking to myself when I say these things. I like everything straightforward and not sugar-coated. Finally, the last thought I have on self-worth. We've talked about the things that will not help your self-worth, but I want to talk about the things that will help you feel worthy of all the things you want to do. Remember, the feelings of self worth come from feeling like you deserve to be loved, cared for, and take up space in this world. So, how do you exercise your self worth muscle? You can begin by accepting that you're not perfect and depending on external factors to make you feel better about yourself. Then commit to a lifelong relationship with yourself and helping your self worth muscle on an ongoing basis because it does not happen overnight. Now, realizing you're not perfect gives room for forgiveness. Forgiveness of the things you cannot always control or do right or perfect. Forgive yourself for letting your emotions get the best of you in certain situations. Forgive yourself for the C you received in the test you took last week. Forgive yourself for not being available to the friends or family who make you feel guilty for not being available in the first place. Forgive yourself for being human and having human thoughts and beliefs. Be gentle with yourself. Instead of depending on external rewards, depend on your own praise. Be the number one cheerleader for yourself. Accept and love yourself for who you are and your imperfections, or what you may believe are your imperfections. Social media reminds us that we aren't perfect, that we need to change our bodies or look a certain way to be worthy, but that is not true. In fact, if you are easily convinced or manipulated, then it's time to go on a social media fast. Delete and unfollow or block those accounts that make you feel bad about yourself. Take it a step forward and do the things that make you feel good, like putting on that red lipstick or embracing your wild, thick curls. If you are sad or anxious, make room for those feelings and learn from them instead of avoiding them. I am an anxious individual. I don't have debilitating anxiety, but there are moments, and I'm talking minutes of time, that I let my thoughts stop me from feeling peace. I've tried numerous times to avoid those thoughts, but then they suddenly creep up and 10 times worse. So now I let those thoughts take space in my head and remind myself of how those thoughts are just thoughts and my reality is better. Ask me if those thoughts come back. Yes, they do at times, but 10 times weaker, and I can enjoy peace at that rate. Lastly, but definitely extremely important, is to be a part of a group that brings the best out in you. Join a community. There are many places to search for this. Maybe you already have a set of friends that you hang out with all the time. Why not start there? Or maybe you don't have friends that want to grow and develop, but you are intrigued about the idea of improving or working out your self worth muscle. Places like Facebook groups, meetup.com, or local groups in your neighborhood can help. Remember when I told you practicing your self worth muscle is an ongoing process? Well, you're going to need support. You're going to need a support group to help you continue to work on your self worthiness. I can seriously go on and on about this topic. Personally, I struggle with feeling worthy. I think that my issues stem from childhood and failed relationships. I am a recovering people pleaser. It's hard. So I sometimes bounce back to old habits and tendencies, but I quickly snap back into reality, or what I want my reality to be, which is to be true to myself, authentic, and just me with all my imperfections. Self worth is the shield to depression, anxiety, shame, and self criticism. It is so important to remind yourself over and over again how amazing you are and how unique you are. God created you to be you, not anyone or anything else. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. God created you in his image. You can do all things with God who strengthens you. Who are you going to believe? Your thoughts or God's word and what he says about you? Many times, the doubt and self worth starts from the rejections you've been through, the breakup, the lost job opportunity, the friend who is no longer present in your life. Do you want to know the truth about rejections? Rejection is God's protection. Look back now. That dude that broke up with you was the reason you were able to find who you really are and what you truly love. The lost job opportunity was the key to the door at a new career opportunity. The friend who did not accept you for who you were gave space to new friendships who love you for you. Remember to avoid perfection. It's not attainable nor sustainable. Stop relying on external factors to feel worthy. Commit to a lifelong relationship with yourself. Forgiving yourself and accepting who you are, including your imperfections, will allow you to feel worthy of anything. Join a community that will help remind you and holds you accountable to love yourself for who you are, regardless of the circumstances. That is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the discussion on self-worth. Last week, I released the episode on faith-based mindset. Please go back to listen to that episode as it will add on to building and exercising your self-worth muscle. And as always, this episode is intended for educational purposes only. Take what you need and leave what you don't. Until next time, bye. I am so happy you just finished listening to that podcast. If you don't mind, after this is done, go and rate the podcast. That's the only way more people are going to be able to get reached, more knowledge is going to be spread, and more lives are going to be changed. So if you don't mind doing that favor for me, I would appreciate you. I already appreciate you for listening to this podcast. I love you so much. Thank you for being such a great person and super supportive. I cannot wait for you to listen to the next one. Till then, have a good day.